Here's what's coming up on today's show.
So if you go to a lake that has a 5-fish limit, that daily limit is 5, and then your possession limit is still 20. So, and we're finding some steelhead. The water temps are still really cold up here. We're finding like 33, 34 degree water temps. You know, I guess the first piece of advice that I would give somebody new to steelheading is...
Presented by Onyx, broadcasting from the Prairie Sportsman Studios. This week's show is brought to you by Ottertail Lakes Country. Go to ottertaillakescountry.com. Show off your pride for the outdoors with new gear from the Sporting Journal Radio store. Go to sportingjournalradio.com, click on store, and browse our selection of hoodies, hats, mugs, and more at sportingjournalradio.com. Okay, Garett Svir from Slab Seeker Fishing joins us next here on the show. Garett, how's it going, man?
Hey, doing good, Brett. How are you?
I want to talk to you about a couple of things. One, because other than on some border waters, people are targeting panfish. They're waiting for ice out on different lakes if their lake isn't iced out, ice-free already. But they're geared up for panfish, and there's some anglers, particularly if they're heading up to Panfish Paradise in Ottertail Lakes Country, Ottertail County up there. There's some new regs for some panfish fishermen out there, aren't there?
There is, yes. So, I've been a member of the DNR Panfish work group for a while, and we've been really trying to work on doing something to just protect some lakes with, giant trophy bluegills in there. Bluegills in Minnesota, in fishermen termed them northern giants, in that they only grow about an inch per year, but we have some, truly world-class fish up here in Lakes Country. And, with these new regulations, some lakes are a 10-fish limit and some lakes are a 5-fish limit. The 10-fish limit's kind of the size maintainer. So if you have a lake that has big fish, the DNR biologists chose some of those to do a 10-fish limit to kind of maintain that actual size. And the 5-fish limit's kind of the size increasers. So they use that on a lot of those lakes where, the bluegills, used to be giant, and they did some sampling in the past and found big fish, but the size has maybe decreased a little bit. What they found with that 5-fish limit is by implementing that, you're going to see the average size of the fish increase in the lake by an average of 0.8 inches. So we could really start to bring some of these lakes back that, to their former glory, have been known to produce these giant fish. And I think all of us that have fished panfish in the state of Minnesota have noticed that since we were a kid, we've seen the average size of our fish decline quite a bit. To stay on top of real good quality bluegills is it's a big task nowadays. So not every lake in Minnesota, but a few of these lakes, and you'll see the signs at public access is they're going to be marked with a yellow sign there, and it'll explain whether it has a 10 or 5-fish limit on the lake. And those limits are, I've had some questions from resort guests being a guide as to how that's going to work this summer, and those are considered a daily limit. So if you go to a lake that has a 5-fish limit, that daily limit is 5, and then your possession limit is still 20. So where it kind of gets confusing in Ottertail County is I've got customers that may be staying on Lake A. They do a guide trip with me to catch a world-class trophy bluegill. I take them to Lake B, and they catch their 5 there. Well, then they go back to Lake A that has a 20-fish limit. They can continue to round out their possession limit with their remaining 15 fish in the next day after.
Well, I could see how that part could get kind of confusing, but
right. And so what's going to be the deal is going to be 20 in possession, but no more than 5 daily on those lakes. And right.
Well, look for those yellow signs. Check out the DNR website, or you can watch the episode of Prairie Sportsman that we filmed with Garett to talk about why these new limits are important to the bluegill fisheries of Minnesota. One other destination people have in mind this time of year is up along the North Shore, Garett, and that's where you've been spending some time lately, it sounds like.
That's where I'm at. I've been kind of immersed in that. That's why when you said you wanted to talk about panfish today, at first I was like, "Oh, I haven't even had my boat out." It's I think the ice has been out for 2-3 days back home now, but on a lot of those smaller lakes. But I've been kind of immersed in the whole steelheading thing up here. It's a busy time of year for us, and we're finding some steelhead. The water temps are still really cold up here. We're finding like 33, 34 degree water temps, and for the steelhead spawn on Lake Superior, you're really looking for that magic 41, 40, 41 degrees. So we're not quite there yet, but the good news is that most of the snow has gone out of the woods, and the big runoff event has already happened. And a lot of people don't realize that, but yeah, the big runoff has already happened. So these rivers, the color is nice, the flow is nice.
Really?
You can safely wade them and fish them. There's some ice shelves on the bank in certain places, but most of the snow in the woods is gone, and we kind of seen the big blowout, like last week. So now things are really starting to be nice color-wise. The fish can see your presentation. The flow is nice. So you can safely wade around.
So we
can't. Steelhead season's here.
We can't recreate our death-defying adventure that we filmed for Prairie Sportsman a few years ago.
We would have had to do it about a week ago. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
you've seen that.
Maybe death-defying is a little a bit of an exaggeration, but it was an adventure nonetheless.
For sure, and as we were out there, the water kept kind of getting. We started in the morning, and water temps, water level was about as high as we would like to see them. But we hooked some fish right away in the morning, and then it started to rain, and it rained, and the water went up, and melted more snow, and that's what you notice in the spring up there is you start to get rain that melts the snow, and the runoff will really compound quickly. You can watch the river go up to an almost unwadeable level right in front of your eyes. That's kind of what happened the day that we were out.
For the first timer for steelhead fishing, obviously you're guiding up there, so they could call you up and you could show them the ropes, take them out, get them on some fish. But if somebody's going to go up there and try it themselves, what's just the first piece of advice you give that guy?
I guess the first piece of advice that I would give somebody new to steelheading is two pieces of advice really are critical. Is make sure, number one, you're getting down to where the fish are. Steelhead aren't going to come off the bottom in this cold water at all to hit your offering. I mean, these fish are literally belly to the bottom. So, the biggest mistake I see anglers on the shore or anywhere that steelhead live really in these early spring temps are trying to fish above the fish. So if you're not getting down to it, and what that means where I'm at on the North Shore is you're gonna break off. You're gonna need, some Gamakatsus and some split shot because you're gonna have to get down there and you're gonna tangle up in some rocks when you get down to the fish. And then the second piece of advice would be to try to drift things past them as naturally and the same speed as the current. And they call that a drag-free or a dead drift. And so one way you can do that is, by keeping your line off the water. And so your offering is straight down from your rod tip and ticking along the bottom, whether you're using a bobber or just bouncing along the bottom. But just getting things to move in the same speed as the current. And, the current on the surface is a lot faster than down where the fish are. And so you don't want anything you don't want the surface current pulling your offering downstream faster than the current down where the fish are. So, those things, try to match the current speed and get down to where the fish are.
It is some of the most exciting fishing you will find in the state of Minnesota. I can't wait to get up and try it again. And Garett, if people want to book a trip with you or maybe do some panfish trips later this year, what should they do?
They can check out my website. It's slabseekerfishing.com, or feel free to give me a call on my cell phone. It's 320-428-5174. We also have a Facebook page. If you're on Facebook at all, it's Slab Seeker Fishing.
This has been the Finding Fins Fishing Podcast, part of the Sporting Journal Radio family. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts or go to findingfins.com and make sure to like our sponsors.
Did you know there are more than 1,000 lakes in Otter Tail County?
Yep, and I'm going to fish as many as I can. I'm an outdoorsy otter. Nothing beats a full day of fishing for me. The lakes of Otter Tail County give me plenty of options to lower my boat and snag the perfect catch. Not an outdoorsy otter? No problem. Otter Tail County has something for everyone. You just need to find your inner otter. Go to this site right here.